everyone, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
We got a code for Toree Saturn, which is the third game in a series that Doug has now played the entire series of that I had never heard of until last week.
Yeah.
So this is a 3D platformer series of indie games that are all just kind of, it sounds like just from your quick description, just kind of short and sweet. Like, oh yeah, here's like a 1 to 3 hour, just cool little 3D platformer thing. And apparently they're all good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's I first encountered the series, a long time ago, on a PS1 demo disc. It seems to be this thing that keeps like popping up later on, where it's this where I had played a demo for the original one, Toree 3D, a long time ago, and Toree 3D and Toree 2 sat on my Steam wishlist forever. And then when the opportunity for Saturn came out, I was like, I should play these other two games. And this series is so cool because each game, they're 3D platformers. The first two games are maybe a half hour each. So I just played like the first game, the second game, and then booted up the third game. And it is so cool seeing whoever the developer of this game is just improve on like that base, that original idea, and just make the games better and better and better to the point where like Toree Saturn is like just like straight up, like no caveats, like an incredible 3D platform. The first two games, I think, are just kind of like these neat little indie ideas of somebody like trying to work out how to make a platformer. And then it just like seeing the games going 1, 2, and then 3. It's just like 3 is just like astronomically better than the first two. And just like, so like it's just a much complete version of like what those sort of tests were of Toree 3D and Toree 2. Just a really, really slick game. Yeah.
Is it just like gameplay stuff that's improved? Like, is it like tighter, just like more mechanically sound? Like, what is making Saturn better than 1 and 2?
Yeah, so I mean, so the series it has this sort of like low poly look. So it's like kind of like he was trying to create like a PS1 sort of platformer thing. And the first one is just like it's clearly somebody kind of just like messing around in like video game design. Like it's the game Toree, the Toree 3D, the first one is like $1 on Steam. I'd say it's worth about $1. Like it's a game I would like to have found like in a cereal box. It's got these like really simple, I play like a lot of these like micro indie games. And I think the one thing that a lot of them struggle with is making a game that feels good. That initial game, even though it's like a little wonky, like when you press jump, that game just feels good to jump. Feel like controlling that character just feels really, really nice. I feel like there's a lot of indie 3D platformers that really struggle with like good feel. So that first one at least had like good feel and then really simple level design. And then Toree 2 is like, well, actually, what's the fun part of Toree? It's like, okay, running around is kind of nice, but it's funny, like fun going fast. So Toree 2 added like a bunch of like sort of boost mechanics to it, of just like, oh, you jump through this ring and you go faster, and it's like, oh, it's kind of fun. It's more like a speed running game. And then Toree Saturn is just like, let's just make like a super fast platformer that like feels like, to me, what a Sonic game should feel like.
That was what I was gonna ask.
And it is just incredible. It is, dude. It feels so good to play Toree Saturn, and it is just cool seeing like them going from like 1, 2, 3, and you can play that whole evolution in an hour of like seeing that full evolution. Like you could play all 3 games in probably 2 hours if you wanted to.
Toree Saturn's that short too?
It's a little bit longer. I think it's like about an hour, maybe an hour and a half long.
Okay.
But it was the kind of game where I played it, I really enjoyed it. And what was kind of funny was like when I would beat the level, I would get like a C ranking. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I feel like I did that level pretty quickly. And then they introduced like a boost mechanic that I didn't quite understand. It's like it's hard to even describe, where it's like you hit the ground and then boost. So you have to jump up the air, hit the ground, then you boost a little bit. But like once you figure out how that mechanic works, you realize you can go to the levels like 2 or 3 times as fast as you were just doing just like your normal walking thing. Like you didn't realize like you were playing a game you thought was fast, and then once you figure out that boost mechanic, it's like, oh no, this game is like much faster. So it just like it's really cool because you'll see those videos sometimes of people who are really good at Sonic games just like flying through those games. It's hard to even parse what's going on, but you can get that in this game in a much shorter time frame. Like I was like a Toree noob and like 10 minutes in, and then like an hour in, I was like, oh, I'm getting S ranks now and I'm flying through the level. So it's like, it's really cool. Like your progression as a player is really visible when you're playing the game.
Is that because it's kind of simplistic, or just because you get the concept really quick because of the fact that you're doing it over and over again, like you're running the same levels? Like what is making, you know what I mean? Like, is it because the game's just so much like, oh, it's so I learned this thing, now I can just S rank everything, or do you actually feel like you've gotten better?
Oh no, well the thing that you're like learning is like, so the controls are really simple. Like there's just like, there is a jump, there's like a jump, a boost, and then he has like the Sonic homing attack sort of
Oh yeah.
thing. So it's like very simple, because I was playing a Sonic game recently, and I was realizing there's like a lot of stuff you need to learn in a Sonic game. It's not just like boost and this. Like you have to like, you do like a crouch down move to slide under stuff. You sometimes have to like go on different rails and stuff. It's like this
Yep.
game just kind of simplified everything. It's like you jump, you dash, and you've got that homing attack one. So like it's just there, it's not a lot of skills you need to learn, so you can master those much easier. And then
Yeah.
as you learn the levels as well, you're like noticing, very similar to Astrobot Time Trials, where you're noticing little skips,
hmm
and so you can skip parts of levels and you can get much faster, and it's just really fun. And I think the thing that I also really loved about the game is that it has a really cool aesthetic. So the first game was like very just kind of low poly in the way that's not like feels totally intentional. It just feels like I'm a guy who can make games, and maybe I can just do a little low poly model, and then that's just like a little low poly game. And then this one, it
hmm
like, I think more so, I feel like very rarely do games do this like well, where they will like nail an aesthetic. Like this nailed Dreamcast slash like Saturn aesthetic, where like it feels like a game that could have come out in that era. I feel like Toree, the first two they're not like as fully formed, I think, as like Toree Saturn. So Toree Saturn is like not only this game that feels incredible, it's also using this aesthetic, like using that low poly to its advantage, that it really does feel like a Dreamcast game. And like it sounds like a Dreamcast game. I mean, I don't want to get like too spoilery, because there's some really cool stuff they were able to do with the soundtrack, but it sounds like Sonic Adventure, or it sounds like Jet Set Radio. Like they had gotten people to do it in that aesthetic, and maybe some people even from that era to do music for it. So like it doesn't, so it looks like that, it sounds like that, but it plays just like incredible as well. Like it's like legitimately, like without caveat, just like an incredible game to play. I always feel like these like indie games, there's this big like asterisk on any of those reviews. Like if I was really reviewing this, it'd be a 6 out of 10, but I think it's personally really cool. It's like, no, this game just like fucking rocks. And it's just like, aesthetically it's good, gameplay it's good, it's super fun to play, it's short positively, and to the point
Yeah.
where I was like, I would just like to play more of this game as well. It's really good. Some of the other stuff was
Is there a
oh yeah,
story
there's this
here?
cool do
Okay.
Kirby games have a story? It's actually very similar to Kirby games, where it's like, actually, this is kind of interesting. So the reason I'd heard about this first game was was like a demo disc thing about like of horror PS1 games. So the first game has this like, it's the same sort of thing. You're this cute little chick that's running around the levels, but there's like these sort of like weird pop out scare things, and it's kind of like those, those games where it's like, oh, it looks like a kid's game, but it's actually a little spooky. Like that's what the
Yes.
first one was, and the second one is kind of like that as well. And like that part they just didn't do very well. And I think like the third one just like completely abandons it. So it's just like a fun kids game from 1999,
Nice.
which I think was actually like a
Yeah.
really good idea. And then the story is always like his ice cream gets stolen by somebody, and then he's trying to get his ice cream back from whoever it is, and that's like
That's
the
fun.
plot.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
it's fun. It's fun. It's like it's super light. There's not really much characters to speak of. Like Tori doesn't really talk. He just kind of like emotes sort of stuff. I think the characters aren't super strong, but I don't think they need to be.
No, you can get away with 3D platform with weak characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's just like because, and I think it works here because it's so the gameplay is so strong. One of the other really cool things about this that all the games did, or at least the second and Saturn did, is that they always had this like bonus content that is legit really cool. So back in the day, when you got like 100% in a PS1 game, they'd have like a weird level. I always felt like as a reward. And
Yeah.
I feel like games don't really do that as much anymore. Like they'll do like, if you have a bonus level, it's kind of some of the other levels, but like I'm thinking of like Spyro 1. When you beat Spyro 1, you get this level, and I was actually reading about it one time, where Spyro can fly around completely, and it was something they had tried testing on early on that just didn't work out. So you got this cool test level as like your 100%
hmm
thing for Spyro. In this one, they do something similar. So in this game, like the levels are super linear, but the bonus ones are just kind of like open platforming levels, like you would like play like a Banjo Kazooie or something like that. So they're playing, so it's that same mechanics now, just like in a more open level, and it also works really well, and it feels really good to control even in an open level thing. But it's only like one or two that you get as sort of like a bonus thing of like, hey, we're just kind of messing around with this. Like, actually, that game I'd also be interested in playing. Not just this cool speedrun one that's also super good, but like it's like, oh, by the way, we could also make a 3D action adventure platform and it'd probably be just as good. It was like really cool just seeing like them kind of playing around. And so you get this really cool base game. You get these cool bonuses of them playing around. In the next game, sometimes they'll implement those things as well. So like Toree 2 had some cool stuff. Or they might not. I remember like Toree 2, they had this part like as a bonus thing where you could play as a mech that wasn't very good, but it's just like cool that it was in there. It's just like, it was obviously something that just didn't work out, but they're like, well, you have to like just unlock this thing. So it's just cool. It's just like, I don't know. It like, oh god, I forgot. There's even bonus mini games in this thing that are also tests for other games. Like there's one that's like a kind of very similar to Nights into Dreams. So it's like a really quick level, but it's like a totally different game that's in there. It's just like a little mini game, and you get 3 of these little mini games as well. So it's like this full package of a cool game that like pretends like it's from 1999, and it just like completely works on every level. I loved it. Like I genuinely think this is like one of my favorite games this year. Like pretty unapologetically. Like it was just such a good game.
Damn.
Yeah. You should get it. It's only $5.
I looked this morning after you're like, Toree fucking rocks. I was like, oh, shit, okay. So Toree 4, when and if you want open world?
That's a great question, actually. So I know how stupid this sounds. Like that's actually very interesting. I think the game works right now really, really well as like a Trackmania sort of speedrunny game that it would just have to be a different thing. Like I would like, well, it's interesting because Toree Saturn is not called Toree 3. It's called Toree Saturn because it does feel different than the other two. I would probably like a different Toree game. Like if it's still Toree, like that'd be cool. I don't think it'd be called Toree 4. I think it'd be called like Toree's
64.
Whatever adventure. Yes, something. Yeah, sure. I would be totally down for that. I'd be down for either of them. I do think that this concept, though, because it's done so well, I feel like anything additive to it would just make it worse. Well, that's why it's like, maybe a pivot to a different type of gameplay style would work. And you can play that version of the game in this one, and it also works very well.
Well, that's what I mean. If it works very well in this one, then you make the full game for it.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I'm curious how these games get made because it's like I think he's been making basically the same game for like 4 or 5 years. It's just getting better and better and better, and this is just so fucking cool.
I mean, that's awesome. Like, I love that there's these indie series back there just happening. That we've turned out like 3 games in this cool 3D platform series that nobody really talks about, but it's really, really cool. So I wish it was easier to find this stuff.
Yeah, and it is. I think the thing is, like those first 2 games, just they'd be hard to write about. It would be hard to do a review on those full games. It'd be like completely kind to them because they're just little indie games that aren't really great. And then, but you do kind of. I think it's really good for people to get that context to see how much better this game is. And like you can see that those first two leading to this one. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we are Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below. There's links for us on Patreon as well. And we'll see you later.